Okay, on our never-ending list of projects, I just want to go over a few things. We did one last visit down to Bill and Bill's old TV radio shop there in New London, Connecticut, and we picked up what appears to be just the remaining few items left behind. Someone came and got all the televisions. A gentleman from New Jersey or something bought all the older 630T televisions and things of that nature. So they went to a good home. These were just some things left over, like that Zenith Cobramatic turntable, and what we have here is, this is a Crosley. I don't know, this was talking to me, so what the heck, we'll bring this orphan home. I did get the Sams on this. It's just a Crosley. Was a huge console, and it's AM only radio. What's interesting about this, I noticed, it's missing one tube, and I have the Sams. I looked it up, and I'll tell you what tube it was in a moment. That's where we get to the mail call here. The tube that was missing from here, and this is funny, I might add, these are all Loctals. Oh, this is a spare tube here. It's not even in a socket. It's in where the capacitor used to be, so it's a spare. It's a spare 7B6. A Crosley with Loctals. So what I noticed was it was a the tube that was missing, I assume from its location and the wiring, is it was the output tube. So it was a 7B5, okay, which is identical. I've heard these 7 numbered tubes are really just 6 volts, 6.3 volt filaments in disguise. So 7B5 does translate to a 6K6 pentode, okay. So I could go and I have a 6K6, I could rewire it for the socket or whatnot. But no, I figure what I would do is I'd just look online. You could get plenty of 7B5s out there. So that's what's in the box here. I almost have this notion here of trying to take this Crosley, and you may be familiar with these pieces of crap here. This, of course, the CD, I got this with a bunch of other radios. The CD does not work. The volume is scratchy. The radio is horrible. And the tape player on the side is warbly. And the phonograph, although is in good shape, well, you get the picture. So let's open this up and see what this tube looks like. We have, of course, it's a Philco. We didn't get to see what tubes these were, as it just said new old stock, pick the one you want, etc. So I picked the least expensive 7B5. So that will go right there. This appears to already have been recapped at some point, but we'll check this radio out at a later date. And as I was saying, being a Crosley, I would almost like to reincarnate it into this thing if I could get the dial to fit and the knobs. I'll just take this thing out of here. That was just something I came up with, as this Crosley has no cabinet, but maybe at some point I'll give you a look at the inside of this thing. And I've powered it up, and even the speed on this is warbly sounding. The gentleman said, oh, it needs a needle, but really the needle was just out of... Let me get some focus. To get the radio I wanted, I had to take this thing along with it. The gentleman said it needs a needle, but obviously it didn't need a needle. It just the stylus had simply popped out of the yoke on one side. So this does operate, but it's 2-speed, nothing special. I don't know what the tone arm weight comes in at, but that's pretty heavy. The cartridge is worth more than this whole thing is. Anyway, if you take a look at other YouTubers, yes, this is something that doesn't say Crosley on the lid inside, but this is a Crosley. It says it somewhere on the back. But this is something that just should have never been made. I would not support anyone buying one of these, because they're just lousy products. The next project, and also we had help from Bill's shop down there. He gave me some of these capacitors. These are film high voltage film capacitors for this next project we have coming up, the Sentinel television. I have the SAMs on it. Someone had bought this television offline. It's the first one I've worked on with deflection plates, and a number of you have said, well, you need those film capacitors, and Bill down there just happened to keep a few aside, so he let us have some. And what I noticed right off about this, we're not going to plug this in today or not, we're just setting the stage here, is they got it offline, it was shipped, and they said it lights up, but they weren't able to get a picture on it. And the owner just wants to use it to play a DVD or whatever on it to display. But first thing I noticed looking inside, I don't know if you can see that or not, but down on that tuner there's one tube out of its socket, and the other tube is about ready to fall out. So I noticed way down in the front corner, in that with the styrofoam peanuts out, that is the tube lying down in there. So we'll get a look at this a little more complete, a little more thorough in a later video. I had the cheater cord ready, and these were the hardest things to find for this. The rest are just common components. But I have the cheater cord, and I may try something different with this, is the light bulb test when we bring it up on the Variac at a later date. So that's the Sentinel from 1949 that we did not get the TV at Bill's. This is this belongs to someone else, but we did get the capacitors necessary in the deflection circuit for this. And we have one other item to go over. Okay, two other items we picked up, mostly because they were left behind and they were large, is this VM from I'd say 56 or 7, non-stereo tabletop record player. We do have the stand, the legs that it sits on, close by, but I just put some rubber feet on it on the bottom here for now, as the originals were missing. Again, a VM, of course it's a VM, so it is a VM changer. The amplifier is behind this panel here. And what do I want to say about this one? It's in very good condition. Needle, cartridge, it even cycles, so I believe this was being used up until just a few years ago. I have no idea of the condition. But there were two of these there, and nobody they still remain, so they're here now. So what we got in the mail is over here on this one. This one here I wasn't too crazy about. I've seen these before. This is notice the end of the stylus here. It just has the wire, the pipe, and the wires just hanging out. And another nice VM changer. It does have the short spindle by this time period. AM/FM radio. I have not tried this. There are some parts rolling around in there. One of them may be the head shell, but the head shell is missing. So we emailed our friend Gary at thevoiceofmusic.com, and he was able to find a used but fully functional head shell for this. Let me just show you that real quick. So we'll get on to this project at a later date. This container had been labeled VM, and there was a tetrad cartridge in there, the original cartridge, but there was no head shell. Here's the new replacement cartridge for that. It still has the two-sided tape on it, and like I say, Gary was able to send us put that back in there for safekeeping. Gary was able to send us this. This is the metal used head shell for this. So this simply will attach to the end of the tone arm, like so. The wire sneaks in the side, and I'll be able to attach the new tetrad in there. So that goes something like that idea. Because the turntable would be useless without its head shell. So the rest of it's complete. Now it's more complete. We have the replacement head shell for that. This will be a future project. So that's it for the mail call, and the items picked up a little over a week ago from the last visit to the old shop of Bill and Bill's down there in New London, Connecticut. The VM school desk with stand, and the VM tabletop, a second VM tabletop player. Oh, and lastly, I forgot to mention, there were a few books thrown in, and at first I didn't think too much of them, but they really go into some great detail of the older signals for black and white and color TVs using the oscilloscope, signal tracing, and whatnot. So, got that book, a power supply book, one on FM repeaters, etc. But this one here was pretty interesting. The GE book. It has diagrams in the back of things you could make. A one-tube compactron stereo amplifier, explains transistor types and things of that nature. So, if you wanted to ever build a stereo amplifier or one compactron regulated power supply or two compactron stereo amplifier. I thought that was pretty interesting, and that's with a oh, what tube did they use here? A 6T9. Two 6T9s to make your own two compactron stereo amplifier. So that's the reading that go along with the record players. Thanks for watching.